Alright, racists, let's talk.
Hi lovelies and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ballistic Gist. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. Alright lovelies, let's get into today's stages of videos.
Alright, racists, let's talk. Normally I would be talking to racist white Americans, but today I'll be talking about racist Mexicans and racist Native Americans. Since you're both the same people. I think you guys are under the impression that you have some brute strength or some Captain America Marvel type strength. Let me remind you, you are not as strong as you think you are. I'm really sick and tired of you guys walking around in public acting like you are the toughest people on this planet. Really acting like black people don't exist. I had the pleasure of witnessing a black man get approached by a very delusional Mexican man. And if you guessed that he got the taste knocked out of his mouth, he did. Right after this interaction, he tried to circle around all of the employees around the store, asking, "Oh, did you see that? Oh!" Immediately became a victim when he was the one that approached the black man. This is how you know that we're in a different time, because literally every single employee in there was black and had this man's back. I don't know if you guys are seeing this where you live, but I'll just say this. If you are not on the side of black people, you are in trouble. I can tell you firsthand, God's people are not playing with you guys. If you are racist or you're harboring a lot of hate in your heart, you seriously better be careful, because they are not scared of you. From what I've witnessed today, they are absolutely going to tell you when you are disrespecting them or when you step out of line. You will learn your lesson. That day, in that moment, live time, you will be corrected. Hey racists, let's talk. Racists are obsessed with having authority over black indigenous Americans, but they can't handle their nervous system quite yet, so they haven't done the complete overhaul that they've wanted to. They will assert aggressive yet lackluster dominance in the moment, but the second they receive that dominant energy back, they just can't handle it. They start shaking like a tree. Slurred speech. Incoherent or irrelevant resolve just to maintain control, or look like they have dominance over the situation. Their adrenal glands are just on fucking fire. Some of them even pass out because they can't handle it. Even in those recent fishing videos where black people can't even fish in peace, they just think that they have the authority over the entire world. Even in public places, they believe that they have the authority to tell people what they can and cannot do, which is fucking crazy. You want me to honestly believe that they did not try to colonize every single piece of land? They can't stop thinking they have authority over everything. All of this hate when you could just give black indigenous Americans their land back and admit that you're fucking obsessed with everything they do. Everything!
White supremacy relies on having an uneducated population, and that is exactly what Trump's administration in the White House is creating today. Anti-intellectualism isn't just concerning because individuals don't know how to read or write at a high level. It's concerning because they don't know how to recognize patterns that are happening in society. They don't want you to recognize the historic danger of banning books, or realize that in 2023 alone, more than 3,000 books were banned, mostly about sexuality, race, and gender. They don't want you to recognize that erasing history is dangerous, like how Florida changed slavery to involuntary relocation, or that the GI Bill that built the American middle class, including my family, excluded black veterans. Why? Because if you understood the way that racism is built into the foundation of this country, you would demand change. You would have to if you have any sort of conscience. From education to housing to policing, go back 30, 50, 70, 90 years and the pattern is all there. White supremacy needs you to be uneducated and complacent in your current status. So what is the most radical thing that you can do today, especially as a white person? Get educated, read a book, stop dismissing critical race theory as woke propaganda and actually look at the foundation of what we are saying, and you will literally be shocked. Let's talk about who the American dream was never meant for. From the start, the American dream was a myth. In the 1930s, the US government literally drew lines around primarily black neighborhoods in order to deny them loans, a process today known as redlining. Not only was this harmful because it kept black Americans out of homes, but it also denied them access to generational wealth. Meanwhile, throughout the 20th century, black workers and immigrants were exploited in factories, in mines, and in fields, while the rich got even richer. Not to mention union busting and wage theft kept families in poverty for decades, and we can even see those effects today. It's not that the American dream is broken, it's that it is a myth for the majority of people. It was meant for white middle-class people who had the resources to try to elevate themselves to the top 1%. So by supporting billionaires like Elon Musk or like Mark Zuckerberg, you are supporting a system that actively hurts minorities as well as the everyday people just like you. It's time for us to rebuild a system that is truly fair and equitable for everybody. Peace and love!
All right, racists, let's have a chit-chat. Why are racist Americans so obsessed with indigenous black intelligence? Real indigenous black people weren't uneducated. They just weren't colonized. However, the true indigenous people have always been the most intelligent on this planet, and that's still the case today. Colonizers invented the IQ test to measure intellect when they have none. Statistically, y'all flopped on your own test. And we all know the IQ test was just the SAT for the plantation. Its job? To measure how well you do at mimicking whiteness. You can't enslave the mind and act surprised when it outgrows you. Why are racist Americans so obsessed with indigenous black intelligence? No, really! They treat black intellect like it's a mystery creature. Something to be caught, tested, and explained, but never respected. Meanwhile, these are the same people who couldn't even figure out hygiene without creating every terminal disease that is harmful to humans. True parasitic nature. Let's be honest. IQ tests were never neutral. They were created by white supremacists as kind of like a mental border patrol. They weren't afraid that the indigenous black people would fall. They were afraid that they would pass and surpass white mediocrity, which they did time and time over and over and over again. Which is why the metrics were tweaked every few decades. Even renamed and rebranded the IQ test as the G factor or the cognitive aptitude test. Another goalpost move by a group of people who still struggle with following a recipe. To be expected, as it's the usual behavior of these envious, hateful reptiles who wish they had the essence of creation. When white delusionalists lose, they create another scam to manufacture superiority. Why are racist Americans obsessed with black indigenous intelligence? Because they don't understand it and they can't stop needing it. Remember, they invented IQ tests to gatekeep intellect, not to measure it. First tested on immigrants, then weaponized against black children. Every change in standard creation was always meant to exclude. IQ testing is not about intellect. It's about control. Black people are remembering who built the pyramids, which we know Europeans and their cave-dwelling ancestors are still unable to build basic infrastructure. Yet their low IQ makes them champion some type of Disney belief that they had something to do with the sophistication of the pyramids when they are the stars of the TV shows Hoarders and Intervention. Like, let's be serious with ourselves. The greatest home built by the only white builders, the Amish, it's a square cabin. The literal poster child for limitation. Whiteness is not a benchmark. It's a malfunction. What's tea, racists? Let's talk. Racists are obsessed with staring at black indigenous Americans at every turn. They think that they're invisible, like their gaze doesn't carry history. But that look? That is the psychic residue of centuries of unpunished surveillance. From auction blocks to plantation porches, from boarding schools, and yes, even broken police body cams. Whiteness operates like a haunted algorithm. They are programmed to stare, to scan, to surveil. Because if they're not looking at you, they might have to look at themselves and see the rot. And when you catch them staring, they suddenly pretend like they're going to tell you the color of the sky. This is envy disguised as caution. Literally directing their head up to the sky as if they're having a conversation with God. This isn't just social awkwardness. This is fear posing as curiosity. This is the welfare Olympians putting their spiritual poverty on display in the presence of black indigenous brilliance. They look because they lack. They watch because they want. They fixate because deep down, they know. They know that they are guests in a world built by the very people they stare at like exhibits. So the next time one of them locks eyes on you like they're mapping your aura for resale, stare back. Smile. You're not being studied. You're being reminded of your power. And they can't stand it.
Alright, you know what is wide. The amount of people walking around in 2025 still acting like their skin color gives them some kind of superpower. And I'm not just talking about white Americans today. We need to have a serious conversation about racism coming from some Mexicans and Native Americans too. Yeah, I said it. There is this illusion that some flocks have that they are built like Captain America or something, that they can flex that made up strength and dominance, and everyone else is supposed to bow their heads. But let's break it down right now. You are not as strong as you think you are physically, mentally, spiritually. You are out here playing a role that has been outdated since the 60s, is tired, is delusional, and the street hasn't respecting it anymore. So this happened recently. A black man was approached by a Mexican guy who was clearly feeling himself a little too much. Tried to press him, tried to punk him in public, and what happened next? That man got humbled fast. Got the audacity knocked out of him right there in the middle of the store. But what really gets me is the switch up. Suddenly, after provoking someone, he's circling employees like a lost puppy, playing victim. Did you see that? Oh my god, he hits me now. You poked the wrong bear and you got handled. Simple. And the most powerful part of this whole situation, every single employee in that store was black, and everyone stood with the brother who was harassed. That unity, that is what is shaking the room now. It's not just about what happened in that one store, it's about a bigger cultural shift. There are places where people have each other's back now, where black voices are being heard, where disrespect is met with consequences. We are not living in the 1950s anymore, and the people you think are gonna stay silent, they are speaking, they are standing, they are done waiting. Listen, if you are still harboring hate in your heart, if you are still walking around with this superiority complex, thinking you can come for black flaws unchecked, you are in for a rude awakening. Nobody is scared of you. Nobody is running from an outdated energy. People are checking you in real time, and trust me, they are not apologizing for it. We are in a time where being bold about your racism isn't just disgusting, it's dangerous for you. Because black people today, they are correcting disrespect on the spot, not tomorrow, not later, right there. You want to test that? Go ahead, but don't be shocked when it doesn't play out like the fantasy in your head. This isn't a movie, there is no playground music. This is real life, and if you cross the line, you will learn your lesson in the moment. And here's the truth that some of you all still don't want to hear. God's people are moving different. They are not turning the other cheek anymore. They are holding people accountable. They are protecting themselves, and they are doing it with strength that no Marvel movie could ever come close to capturing. So to every racist still walking around with their chest puffed out, whether you are white, Mexican, native, or anything else, get your spirit right, because the days of passive silence are gone. Disrespect black people now, you are gonna feel it immediately, and it won't be something you can play victim over. It will be something you brought on yourself. You have been warned. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Stay awoke, stay solid. I will catch you all in the next one.